Well, this is a very quick video. I've been doing quite a lot of aluminium metal casting over the last week or so, as you can see. I've tried a few different things to see if I could improve the outcome, the actual aluminium slug I get. Now, this is another one of those pulley blanks that I did for the Sherline mill, and that one has come out a lot better than the first one. But then I used brand new Petrobond sand for that one, and obviously there is the mould. The vast majority of my metal casting in aluminium is to make bar stock, basically. So I don't do a lot, unlike my other boy who does absolutely brilliant, sand casting. I tend to do more like what Rob does over on his Zanudu channel, and I just basically cast up my own bar stock. So to do that, I generally use moulds, and they are things like that. That is a bit of seamless steel tube. You can see how thick it is. And you just pop that on top of the furnace to get it nice and hot, and then pull the aluminium into it. Now, when I first started doing this, I simply used to stand these upright in a tray of sand and pour the aluminium in. The problem with that is twofold. One is you get the end of the casting ends up looking like that, and the other thing is that as the aluminium hits the sand, it can blow it up into the mould, and then you get inclusions like this little bit here, and it really isn't ideal. So I've basically done a few mods to the moulds. Yeah, all my tube moulds now have a plug in the end. That's a steel plug that's held in place with a screw. It's not a tight fit. You don't need it to be a tight fit. You won't have aluminium seeping out between the end cap and the tube. But what that does is that it makes a huge amount of difference. Then you end up with that. That's the kind of end you get, and it doesn't throw the sand up into the tube. And there's one I did, and that one's near enough bloody perfect. And normally these slugs will literally just fall out of the tube. Once it's cool, they will just fall out. Interestingly enough, this one I used a stainless steel tube. These three were all in mild steel tubes like this. This one I used stainless steel. Now, as you're probably aware, stainless steel doesn't conduct heat as well as ordinary mild steel. So yeah, that was just an experiment. I mean, it worked, but it's nowhere near as nice as say that. And this was the first attempt at casting a really long rod of aluminium, and that worked out really well. Again, it was just a longer tube, same system. So yeah, I just thought I'd share this with you because obviously it has improved the castings. Okay, so the next thing was, I wanted to cast a billet of aluminium. Now, okay, I can make up a blank and put it in a sand cast, much like I've done this. But the sand cast thing is fine, but it's quite long-winded and involved. So I was scratching my head. What could I use as a mould for a billet of aluminium? Now, the ideal thing would be, say, a tin can. But modern day tin cans generally tend to be ribbed, and you really don't want that because obviously you never get the bloody lump of aluminium out of the tin can. So I thought, I'm just scratching my head over this. And so, being the sad git that I am, I spent some time in Waitrose recently going down the tinned food aisle and inspecting all the various different cans. And I actually found one that would do perfectly. And here it is. Now, obviously you can see I've used this already, but this is not ribbed. It's smooth on the inside. It doesn't have a lip, so there's nothing stopping you from getting the aluminium out once you've poured it in there. That was a £1.80 tin of salmon from Waitrose. So I haven't actually eaten the salmon yet. I did have a little nibble, and it's pretty good, to be honest with you. Anyway. The other thing is, of course, as you're probably aware, modern food tin cans are coated in plastic. They have a very fine coat of plastic on them. So basically, I just went over this with a gas torch to start with to burn all of that off. And yeah, I poured that one this morning. That pretty much holds, my crucible in my little furnace will hold probably, I don't know, a little tiny bit more than that full up. But that's pretty much ideal. And there it is. There's the billet that came out of it. Worked perfectly, and I just tapped the tin just all around and on the bottom gently with a hammer, and this just fell out. So there you can see impression of the tin on the bottom. But this is just perfect for a billet. This is exactly what you want. Now, okay, the sides are slightly tapered, but yeah, that's no more than pattern draft you'd have if you did a sand cast. So I'm not worried about that. But the beauty of this is I can use this tin over and over again to make billets like that. It worked out really well, and for £1.80 for the tin can, and plus you get some salmon, absolutely superb. If you want to know what the aluminium looks like before I melt it, this is it. This is chopped up bits of extruded aluminium, which I get for free. They're offcuts from solar panel installations. So I understand, obviously, that generally extruded aluminium's not that brilliant for recasting, but this stuff must be just good quality, because it casts. That's what that was. That's all this. So, and it casts up just fine. So anyway, there you go. A quick few tips if you're going to try this at home. Simple, seamless mild steel tube with a cap on the end of it. Perfect for making the bar stock. Stay away from stainless steel tubes. That you don't get such a good result. Mild steel tubes, fine. Tin of salmon, perfect for making your billets. Anyway, like I said, this is just a very real quick video on my latest experiments with home cast aluminium. As always, thanks for watching. Cheers.